I continue to say we are living in the best of times here in Jaguar country. Girls basketball team went up to Royalton tonight on a tough floor to play on. Royalton had a nice crowd there, loud, proud student section. One of their juniors entered the game 10 points away from 1,000 career points. Meanwhile, our Abby Berge stepped on the floor with 29 points to go to 1,000 points. So everyone in the gym thought that the junior from Royalton had a decent shot at it. She's a tall forward, Kaylee Wadashek. Also plays alto sax in their band, by the way. I'll get to that later. But anticipated for this game, Jaguars were 2-1 in the conference, Royalton 2-0. So it was a big conference game at Royalton. And the Jaguars punched out to a 42-26 halftime lead. They'd go on a run and stretch that lead out, and then Royalton would cut back into it, and they stayed 10 to 14 points away pretty much the whole way. And the second half, they got within 12 a few times, but the Jags kept throttling it down. And the Jaguars got better and better as the game went on against a deep and talented Royalton team. Royalton came into the game with a defensive average of 48 points per game. So they were giving up 48 points a game, and the Jaguars blistered them with 84 points. 84-58 win. And down the stretch, this junior from Royalton had 6 points at halftime. And she was very quiet for about the first half of the second half. And then she heated up. I think they realized that she needed to get some points if she was going to get this mark on her home floor. And a real frantic stretch in the final minutes as they're trying to get her to 1,000. And our Jaguar defense got better and better, and we knew where the ball was going, and we collapsed on her. We collapsed down on their passing, shut down the lane. Excellent, outstanding defense. Lights out, cutthroat defense. That's what you need if you're going to make a run in the playoffs and go anywhere. You have to have that, and the Jaguars delivered that. And we are now averaging 68 points a game through 9 games. So you're a little over a third of the way through the regular season. We've faced some tough competition, so that 68 points a game is quite a nice mark. Our defensive average now stands at 52, and if we want to go deep, that number has to get into the 40s. We're going to keep working on that. So we moved to 3-1 in the Central Minnesota Conference with this win, and Abby Berge finished with 27. So both these potential 1,000-point scorers finished the game 2 points short. Tomorrow, Abby Berge will go for that 1,000 points, entering the game with 998 career points. She has played now as a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. She missed approximately 10 games last year with an ankle or lower leg injury. And, of course, now she's back and good to go. She entered tonight's game averaging, I believe, 22 points a game and nailed 27 tonight. She was in a trio of seniors in double figures. Tiana Stringhammer, 16 points on 7 of 11 field goal shooting. Blistered the nets. Abby Berge herself, she was 7 of 16 overall. Abby also 13 of 16 at the line. Allison Dingman, one of her better games of her senior year now, 14 points. She made 7 of 12 field goal shots. So excellent field goal shooting. As a team, the Jags shot 48%. 25 of 32 at the free throw line. Minnesota State University Moorhead Dragons coach, an assistant, was there scouting, and my entourage happened to sit next to her, and I also sat by former B-B band director Chris Kopicus, a friend of mine who I've known since he came to B-B-E about 12 years ago. He was hired at B-B-E, and he was with us for 4 years. I think 13 years ago. He was with us for 4 years, and now he's been for the last 8 at Royalton. Enjoyed visiting with him, but I talked about these 5 seniors are on our team with this Dragons coach, and I pointed out that I pointed to my daughters and said, you know, their favorite players, and I was referencing the whole program. 82 kids in our girls basketball program, with 5 at the top, these 5 seniors. There's 16 at the bottom in 3rd grade. And I wanted to relay the impression to this Dragons coach that this entire program looks up to these 5 seniors. They go to their games. There were some other younger players, elementary age players besides my daughters at tonight's game, which was pretty impressive. It's a 59-mile drive from our high school to Royalton. So that's really wonderful to see, all that support for this team. Tomorrow they tip off at 6 p.m. at the elementary. The boys tip off the varsity at 7:30. The preliminary games start earlier, I believe at 4:30. Boys take on Maple Lake tomorrow night in a Central Minnesota Conference game. And the girls try to extend their 5-game win streak against a pretty solid Upsala team. The Wrestlers, they travel to Paynesville. They start out at 2 p.m. at the Paynesville Invitational. Sartell, Piers, Paynesville are 3 of the strong challengers to our Jaguars, who are defending champions there in Paynesville. I believe they're the 2-time defending champions at the Paynesville Invitational. Piers is as an excellent team, and Paynesville's no slouch either, so that'll be a good test for our Wrestlers. I plan to be there mat side at 2 p.m. to start getting back into some wrestling coverage. And then our Pirouettes dance team, they are at 11 a.m. on Saturday at ACGC High School. The B-B Paynesville Pirouettes dance team. Featured them in a team photo, a nice team photo from Alec on my back page of the newspaper. And you can catch the full girls basketball story that was omitted. About 80% of the basketball story was omitted from my paper by mistake. You can get that on my website. You're probably watching this through bb-EJaguars.blogspot.com, my sports blog. So let's come out tomorrow and cheer on our Jags. This is, for our girls basketball team, this is the first of 4 straight 3-game weeks. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same way for our boys. Packing in makeup games. We're in an intense stretch right now. Let's make the most of it and continue living the best of times.